Question 1 from Kennedy asks, do you guys plan on creating a new social media platform in the future?
So we've got some secret plans we're building in this lab. This is my home office. Actually, it looks more like a home than an office. But yeah, new video apps coming soon. We're working on a new platform.
Baller.
Should be cool.
Rustin asks if we have any tips for young entrepreneurs.
Tip number 1 for me is get started. You just got to get started, taking the first step. First step is always the hardest, and build something.
I would say as a young entrepreneur myself, I think the biggest thing was surrounding yourself with good people like Justin Kahn, who can give you great advice.
To follow up on that, definitely want to build a community of people who are like-minded, entrepreneurial, that you hang out with and that influences you learn from.
And I would say also as a young entrepreneur, sometimes you can be afraid of failure, and I don't think you have to be able to learn from your mistakes and be able to fail.
Another thing is just remember nothing happens overnight. You don't become successful overnight. It's an iterative process, whether you're building a business, whether it's on social media, whatever it is, nothing happens overnight.
So Joseph asks if he should try and get funding for his clothing company.
So clothing lines, super hard business. I know I tried to start one, it failed, which is okay, but pretty difficult business to do. I think it's hard to raise money from investors for one, so your best bet is to get some sales. I think kickstarting it online is really good, a good way to raise capital.
And I think why I buy clothing is because of the message and what it represents. So if you can create that around your clothing company, that would help too. Andre asks, how do you succeed in business if you're a teenager and you're not an influencer like me?
Well, so most people who have successful businesses are not influencers.
That's right.
So just because you're not an influencer doesn't mean you can't build a business.
Andre, I would say that you should have a knowledge in a certain vertical and build a business in that certain vertical and test it and see if it works, and then eventually you can succeed from doing that. The example I can give you is before Vine came out, I had a lot of knowledge in landscaping and I had all the tools to do it, and so I started a landscaping business. And I just went for it. I learned how to grow my client base and charge more money and offer more landscaping jobs like mulching, then cutting grass, etc. D101 asks, do you think opinions matter? Even if it's someone close to you, should you take that into account?
Well, probably depends on what the opinion is. But if it's a negative one, remember there's always people out there who are naysayers who don't want you to succeed.
A lot of people give me opinions all the time, and I try to listen to the people who are experts in that field of whatever the opinion relates to. If Leonardo DiCaprio tells me I suck at acting, then I probably suck at acting. But if some person on the side of the street who doesn't know anything about it tells me I suck, then I'm not going to listen.
Has he told you that?
No.
Bianca NC3 asks, how important is time management in a business?
Time management is key. You're going to find yourself doing a million things, and you have to prioritize it and be able to hand off a lot of that workload to some of your employees.
Also, really important to limit the number of things you're doing to just the important ones. There's infinite things you can be doing, but you have to choose and do fewer things. Okay, next question. What are the most important qualities one should have in the business world?
I would say some of the most important qualities are leadership, not getting your feelings hurt easily because it's a harsh world.
I think you really have to have a experimental mind, and you have to test things and then see the results and act on that. How did Jake and Logan finish school with the fame that they had?
So we stayed in school for as long as we could until the opportunity of moving to Los Angeles was greater than staying in school, but we did finish online.
One of the things I'd like to point out is just because you're not actively in school doesn't mean you're not learning. Some of the most valuable lessons I've learned have come from the real world. How did you guys get the motivation to start? For me, it was getting started in startups was I kind of fell into it. It was something that I started doing when I was in college. Mostly it was me and a couple friends of mine trying to experiment with whether we could start a business, and we seemed like a good idea at the time.
I think motivation is a habit with whatever you're doing, whether it's school, it's repeatable, and if you're a motivated person, you'll always be motivated to do stuff. And so when I got into the business world and the acting world, I was immediately motivated to rise to the top and just worked every day to get to there. You also have to choose how you spend your time and when you're more motivated you want to work. And one example is like I'm not out at clubs partying, drinking, so I could wake up earlier on the weekends and work.
Greatest inspiration. My inspiration is George Washington. He founded a little startup called America.
Great answer. I have a lot of inspirations from Gary Vaynerchuk, who's trying to conquer the social media space, to people like Justin, who create a platform in the space. I think it's also important to be inspired by people who may have not had the right answer from the start and who changed their business around. You can learn from them a lot.
All right, we had a great time answering your questions. This was fun.
Killed it.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.